Greetings. This is Escape from Trucking. My name's Casey. I've been trucking for about 7 years now, and this is my video update about my attempt at a career transition. And my update today is that I'm going to be, and actually I already legally am, an insurance adjuster, a licensed insurance adjuster in the state of Texas. So I passed my test. I passed my all lines Texas insurance adjuster's test on my first try. I scored an 88%. And if I do say so myself, I did beat the crap out of that test. I just attacked it, and I knew my stuff. I'm trying to kind of give myself a little happiness in that victory, and like it feels happy right now just talking about it. But these last few days have been filled with anxiety, actually, because the big question is what now? And you know, independent insurance adjusting is basically, I'm going to be running my own business, which is something I haven't meaningfully done yet in my life. I've been an employee for all my adult life. And so I feel like right now there's just ahead of me, there's so much work that I have to do to get set up. There's so many tasks that I need to complete, and with that one big focal point out of my way, now there's all kinds of other things I need to do, and it feels very overwhelming. It's gone from one big simple thing to so many things, and really now comes the hard part. Getting the Texas license was the easy part. I don't know how to be an insurance adjuster yet. All I really know how to do is pass a test. And so I'm feeling the most acute sense of imposter syndrome I've ever felt in my life. And I think it's probably going to be that way for a good long time. I am about to dive into a world of uncertainty from what was in trucking a pretty straightforward cut and dry W-2 sure thing, I guess. And it feels really stupid, actually. There's part of my brain telling me that what I'm doing is stupid and harebrained, and I'm giving up. I'm giving up a line of work that I've been doing for the last 7 years, that if I do say so myself, I've learned to be good at it. And now I'm giving it up for something I don't really know how to do. And that's a bit scary. It just doesn't seem to, on the face of it, the whole thing that I'm doing right now just doesn't seem to make any sense. But every night that I have to wake up and continue to come to this third shift job is, to me, a reminder of how much I have sacrificed as a trucker, and for 7 years. And if you've been a trucker for a while and you've done OTR, you know exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And with me as it is with, I'm sure so many of you, trucking has really hurt my health, and I have sacrificed a lot of things, including my health, to be able to make a living in the trucking industry. I'm not saying it has to end for me. It has to end for you like it's ended for me. I have had a lot of trouble transitioning from over the road to local, and in doing so finding a work-life balance. I haven't been able to find that work-life balance, and about a year ago I came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to find it, and that I needed to start looking for another career. I'll try that again. Last week I got my lipids panel in, and my cholesterol levels were quite high. And so I'd been resisting going on to statins for several years, but I just started taking it just last week because of that. I got into trucking. One of the reasons I got excited about getting into trucking 7 years ago was because of a YouTuber going by the name of Trucker Brown. And Trucker Brown taught me much of what I know, and much of the success I've achieved financially in trucking I owe to Trucker Brown and how he and his kind of school of thought as to how to manage a clock. It's because of Trucker Brown that I was able to hit the ground running in trucking and do so well right off the bat. And I've been kind of a silent fan of Trucker Brown ever since then. And I've kind of been in the Trucker Brown school of trucking, Trucker Brown school of thought, if I could put it that way. And as you may or may not know, Trucker Brown had a stroke a few months ago, and he's a couple years younger than I am. Was another sign that I needed to, another omen that I really needed to get out. Trucking hasn't worked for me ever since I've transitioned out of OTR, and going back into OTR is not an option, by the way. That doesn't mean it won't work for you. As a trucker, I'm not trying to dissuade people from getting into the trucking industry, although conditions have worsened quite a bit since when I got in. You might be able to transition into a work-life balance. And by the way, pretty much everybody who gets into trucking eventually needs to transition into something more sustainable than just living over the road. You might be able to do that better than I can. You might live in a market area that has a wider variety of local trucking jobs than what I do. You might be a little more mechanically inclined than I am. I'm just saying it didn't work for me, okay? And I had to find a new career. I came to that conclusion, and so although I am very anxious about this, I feel like a total imposter and a total fraud coming into insurance adjusting, not knowing anything. I feel harebrained for leaving something I know, a sure thing, for something I don't know at all. But I do have a lot more natural aptitude for insurance adjusting, I believe, than I ever did for trucking. I learned to be a good truck driver. I became a good truck driver from calibrating myself over and over and over again. I believe I'll do insurance adjusting a lot better. I think that's something that could interest me. I think it's something I have a natural aptitude for. I'm a very good writer, lifelong writer, actually. and I'm a mathematically inclined person, and I'm actually a people person, which has been tough for me, doing nothing but OTR and then third shift. So I have to get out. That's just the bottom line, and I have to embrace this uncertainty, and that's what the future of this channel's going to be about. And I'll still talk about financial stuff and real estate stuff, which is a keen interest of mine, and Panther platform cars, which is also a keen interest of mine. But the main focus of this channel and the main future of this channel will be my transition into the industry of insurance adjusting. And I hope you'll come along with me for that ride. Anyway, I'm very tired. I'm sure I look very tired too. I'm very tired, and I'm going to get myself some rest because I have to go back to work tonight. So I will see you later, and thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you next time.